We've got a packed weekend full of punches and kicks from K-1 Rise, Lumpini Stadium, and elsewhere in the world. We've got so much to cover off. Welcome to Kick Weekly with Tim Wheaton, the weekly kickboxing podcast. Folks, I appreciate your time and thanks for joining me. With so much content this weekend, with so much stuff going on this weekend, let's jump right into it. K-1 is still in its rebirth and reboot phase. We had K-1 ReBIRTH 1, and if that wasn't enough for you, you got K-1 ReBIRTH 2. Now, if you did like the English broadcast with Michael Chiavello, unfortunately, this time around, they are not doing an English broadcast. The only place that you can watch K1 is on Abima TV. No matter where you are in the world, you can only watch it on Abima, and you have to be in Japan to watch it. This event is like a marathon. There's I think 30 or some fights on it. It's going to be an absolutely long one. We're looking at 6 to 10 hours of fights here. So let's jump in and look at some of the major fights that people are going to be talking about. In the main event, you have Hiromi Wajima versus Ouyang Feng. Hiromi Wajima will put his super welterweight championship on the line against Ouyang Feng. Ouyang Feng is a Chinese-born fighter. He is the reigning kickboxing champion in WLF. He won this title earlier this year by first-round knockout with low kicks. In addition to his WLF kickboxing championship, Feng also won a tournament title in 2022, having defeated multiple opponents in the same day. Hiromi Wajima has a decorated kickboxing career. Arguably, he is just coming off the biggest wins of his career. He just defeated Jordan Pickyer by TKO in the second round in a very dominant performance. Before that, he defeated Rodtang via TKO in the fourth round via leg kicks, and that was amazing. A really impressive performance against a very challenging and quality opponent. Wajima has also won and defended his K1 WGP super welterweight title in addition to his 2020 Grand Prix title. So it's looking to be a Japan versus China showdown. The world title will be on the line, and it's going to be the champion from China versus the champion from Japan. I am very excited. It's going to be a very fun matchup. You also have Hasan versus Shintaro Matsukura. I spoke to Hasan earlier this year. I will put the link down below. Very interesting gentleman to speak with. He just picked up this title, the inaugural title for his weight class, with the Grand Prix victory, where he defeated most of the opponents via knockout. And he actually thought about quitting kickboxing for a while. He has a couple losses in different weight classes and thought, I'm done with kickboxing. But just he has watched K1 since he was a child, and it was something that he was never, ever going to get rid of. That is his lifelong dream, is to be a K1 champion. That is what has motivated him since he was a child. He told me a story about his parents put him in football and other sports like this, and he kept getting kicked out because he was kicking the children. So his parents finally put him in a karate class, and he eventually would go to a kickboxing class, but his whole life, he has wanted to be a K1 champion. So he quit. He actually made good money in the Netherlands with owning his own company and stuff like that. He got a family going and all that. And he said, I don't need kickboxing. But he came back and then won his first matches back via knockout and picked up a Grand Prix title. And now he's looking to defend the division crown. But one of those people that he knocked out in the final was Shintaro Matsukura. Shintaro Matsukura was knocked out in just 40 seconds in the finals of that tournament, and now he's looking to come back for revenge. Shintaro Matsukura has had a good career with good wins overall in kickboxing, but he just doesn't have a lot of gold to really show for it, but he is a good fighter. Leona Patas versus Remy Para. Leona Patas is he's a highly, highly entertaining fighter who has held multiple titles in K1 and Crush. Remy Para from France is a Waco world champion and is currently on a 10-fight win streak, and he's looking to add more. I'm expecting this one to be a very good one. Akihiro Kaneko will fight Lan Shentang in a non-title bout. Akihiro Kaneko is the current reigning K1 Super Bantamweight world champion. He just defended his crown in a trilogy match against Masashi Kimura. This is one of the best fights of this year. It was an amazing fight. You have to watch it if you haven't. It should be available on YouTube. He is one of the highest regarded kickboxers in K1 and kickboxing today. Coming from China, Lan Shentang is a fighter with tons of experience between both kickboxing and Muay Thai. He's only 19 years old and making his debut in K1, but he's already picked up multiple titles in places like Wulin Fang and Glory of Heroes. Lan Shentang has every ability to win this. He's a very talented, very experienced fighter, only 19 years old. I don't know if we can expect an upset here, but I think this is going to be a really great fight. You also have Lu Si versus Tanagawa Seiya. Lu Si from China shocked the world earlier this year as he captured the openweight Grand Prix title at K-1 ReBIRTH #1. Each win in this tournament for him was won by knockout. 3 wins, 1 night, 3 knockouts. And he's going to be fighting Tanagawa Seiya. Seiya is a former karate heavyweight Japanese national champion. He's got tons of experience against some of the bigger names in the organization. He is coming off of a win in his most recent bout. I think Lucy probably gets a nice little knockout win here. No disrespect. Let's take a look at some of the fights I did not take notes for. Toma Kuroda versus Issei Ishii for the bantamweight title. That's a really good matchup. Toma Kuroda is a very exciting and really a skilled fighter on a little win streak here. Issei Ishii is always a very game fighter. This person has picked up gold in a few other organizations outside of K1. And Issei Ishii gave Toma Kuroda his toughest fight a few years ago in the finals of the Grand Prix. They had to go to extension rounds. And I'm sure Issei Ishii has been thinking about that loss ever since because he was that close to winning a K1 Grand Prix. He has picked up titles in other organizations like IBF Muay Thai, some other Muay Thai organizations, Knockout, places like this. But having that K1 title is validating. So now he gets the chance. Now he has the chance to get the title that he nearly won back in 2022. That's going to be an amazing fight. It's going to be a really close one as well. I think I'm really looking forward to that one. You have Kana Silverwolf fighting Antonia. Kana Silverwolf really doesn't need a ton of introduction to kickboxing fans. She's been the long reigning K1 champion for quite a while, to the point that K1 has been struggling to really find appropriate opponents for her and just trying to find someone in this weight class. She has, defended the title a bunch of times via knockout, just constant knockouts. She had some very good highlight reels. Her opponent, Antonia, is in Greece, a regional karate and Muay Thai champion. So that's good. So a regional champion coming into challenge. It's great. Miyu Sugawara will be back, and she's going to be fighting Lucille Deadman from Australia. I believe Lucille Deadman is the Australian national champion. And way down the card, you have Jom Tong fighting Riki. That's one of the best fights on the card, just way down in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this is going to be a nice win for Jom Tong, who's an incredibly talented fighter. Riki is pretty good as well. You will have Yuto Shinohara versus Tatsuya Oya. I like Tatsuya Oya because he likes to wear a chain like Rampage Jackson does. Or like Rampage Jackson used to. Oh, jeez. Let's talk about living in the past, am I right? But yeah, that's as far on the K1 ReBIRTH 2 card that I know and recognize these fighters. Let me know what are some of the other fights that I really need to keep an eye on for this one. Once it goes to air, I'll watch the whole thing and let you guys know what fights you need to watch. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun fight card. That should be a good one. Now, on the 10th, we also have Rise 174. This is going to be a championship match between Masahiko Suzuki and Koki Osaki. Masahiko Suzuki is the reigning champion in this division, and he is a very talented fighter. Maybe talented is the wrong word. He's a very exciting fighter. Win or lose, he's always one of the most exciting fighters. He might be the most exciting fighter in kickboxing today because he's willing to take a bunch of punches to land a bunch of punches back. He competes in different organizations at the same time. He's bounced around. He was part of the match. He will fight in K1, but he is quite a staple of Rise. Coming into this match, he's coming off of a big knockout and looking to defend his title against Koki Osaki. Koki Osaki is coming off of 2 knockout wins in a row to earn his place for this title shot. Yeah, really excited for this one. It's going to be a really exciting one. Masahiko Suzuki is a kickboxing-based fighter, but just loves to brawl and throw down. He's an awesome, exciting fighter to watch. Koki Osaki is a karate-based fighter, and you want the hard facts? You want to know some fun stuff about these gentlemen? Masahiko Suzuki says that he does not like vegetables. No vegetables at all. Koki Osaki, he's not quite that strict. He says he only dislikes mushrooms. So other vegetables are welcome. And you know what? I am pro-vegetable. I'm sorry to both men. I like mushrooms and I like vegetables overall. Not to get controversial here on the show. I might delete that. But I am pro-vegetable. Folks, I can't stress this enough. You do need to eat your vegetables. As for the rest of Rise 7-4, I've never been one to lie to you folks. I'm not entirely familiar with a ton of these fighters. Let me know who I missed of, like, I can't believe you didn't talk about this guy on the Rise card. You need to keep an eye out for this guy on the Rise card. And again, I'll watch the full event and let you know next week who really stood out and who's up on the Rise and people like that. But yeah, as of now, I'm not overly familiar with everyone on this card, but the main event is very good. Koki Osaki versus Masahiko Suzuki is a very good fight. From Lumpini Stadium this weekend, one championship is off offering a double header. One Friday Fights 44 followed by one Fight Night 17. One Friday Fights 44 is going to be an awesome card. It just is it is one of the best bookings that they have put together, with people like Yod IQ fighting Ilyas Musayev. You have Ritadet fighting Pompet. There's so many great fights on this card. I'm really excited and really looking forward to it. But you'll also have Yuli Alves will be fighting the Infusion Kickboxing champion, Chelina Chirino. So Chelina Chirino is a champion in Infusion Kickboxing and will be making her debut in the organization and looking to become a Muay Thai champion with time. And I wish her all the best of luck here. And one Fight Night 17 is going to be a banger as well. It's a Muay Thai card through and through. The main event, they are introducing the heavyweight Muay Thai title with Roman Curricula and Alex Roberts. Alex Roberts is the WBC heavyweight Muay Thai champion. He just won it, I think, a few months ago against Lyndon Knowles, who was the long-reigning WBC heavyweight Muay Thai champion. And now they're going to introduce a title, and the person that Alex Roberts is going to face is Roman Curricula, who is the long-reigning one heavyweight kickboxing world champion. He's also won a Grand Prix in here and stuff like that. Roman Curricula is a long and dangerous and powerful fighter. He's a tough fight for anyone. And he's also quite aggressive. Alex Roberts, I did interview him last week and we talked about that. And he says, I'm going to use his aggression against him. Also, his his inexperience in Muay Thai, I'm going to use against him as well. There will be tons of elbows and clinching. He's going to try to perform a Muay Thai clinic against Roman Curricula. I don't think Roman has fought Muay Thai. If he did fight in Muay Thai, it hasn't been for more than a decade. It's been about 10 years. And in that he's not overly experienced in Muay Thai. He maybe did it once or twice. However, with his skills in kickboxing and at heavyweights in 4-ounce gloves, you can't just say, oh, he's going to be better in Muay Thai. Anything can happen in these heavyweight fights. He's going to be well-conditioned, powerful, fast, aggressive. It should be a very exciting fight, whoever wins. Luke Lessay will take on Smokin' Joe Nadawat. Luke Lessay is a fighter from the US and is going to be making his debut in one. Smokin' Joe Nadawat is a fighter who has spent most of his career in kickboxing, but is coming back now to Muay Thai. It should be quite a competitive and exciting matchup. Sempech Fairtex is going to be fighting Mohamed Younes Raba. Dmitry Menshikov is back, a very highly skilled and dangerous fighter. Is going to be fighting Musin Shafi. Walter Gonzalez and Jacob Smith. Great fight. That's a really fun fight. It's a good flyweight division that they have there. Edgar Tabarez is going to be fighting Johan Jojo Ghazali. Johan Jojo Ghazali is a 17-year-old fighter who has 3 wins in one Lumpini thus far, 2 of them by knockout. They signed him to a $100,000 contract, and now he's in big one. He's going to be taking on Edgar Tabarez, who has 2 losses in 1 championship, so they're really looking to put Jojo over the top. Dennis Purich is also fighting. I interviewed him a while back, and he's a high-energy guy, and he's also ambitious. No matter what his record currently is in 1 championship, and no matter who he just fought, no matter who he just beat, he has set his sights on Rodtang. That is his career-long goal. He wants to get enough wins to challenge for the crown. He wants to be a world champion, but really he just wants to fight Rodtang. But it's going to be a tough match against Nguyen Tran Dui Nut. And Thongpoon is on the card as well. Love Thongpoon. Such an exciting fighter. Win or lose, he's always in some of the best matches. He's going to be fighting Elise Badr Barboza from the UK. So both 1 Friday Fights 44 and 1 Fight Night 17 from Lumpini Stadium are going to be a ton of fun. I know they're going to be action-packed cards top to bottom. And I'm going to be talking about something that does have a kickboxing connection, but let's talk about PFL Europe 4. Coming up this weekend. It is the tournament finals. And like I said, it has a huge kickboxing connection. Dakota Ditcheva is an unbeaten MMA fighter, and she is a knockout machine. And she comes from a kickboxing background. In fact, she held ISCA titles before she transitioned to MMA. But she is the daughter of Lisa Howarth. Ever since she was a child, she was taught by her mother, Lisa. Lisa Howarth was one of the main female kickboxing fighters in the world during pre-K-1 kickboxing. So she fought in things like Full Contact. She fought in WKA. She fought in Muay Thai and held titles in almost all of these sports. She fought really notable names that people will know, like Kathy Long and Alonka Elmont, of course. She leaves a massive legacy in the sport of kickboxing, but it seems like she's taught everything she knew into Dakota Ditcheva. And now Dakota will be fighting in the European PFL finals this weekend, and I'm a huge fan of Dakota. Fraser Crone, my old mate at MMA Sucka Podcast, introduced me to her. Since then, she's done a few interviews with me. Check them out. Some of them, they're probably on combatpress.com or on the Kick Sports channel. She has an 80% knockout win rate and an exciting kickboxing style in MMA. Really an exciting fighter. And the entire PFL Europe 4 overall will be a very good event. So make sure to check that out, and that's going to be on Friday. So on the last video, which was the announcement for Rodtang versus Takeru, we got some comments. One person said that Takeru is scared of Muay Thai and a few other things. And I'll put this person's comments on screen. So in response to these comments, I'm going to offer a mature response and then an online flame response. Because I do like comments, keep interacting with the video, comment, all that stuff. But let's get to the mature response first. So this person is kind of known in the kickboxing community. Wherever you talk about Rodtang, this person will show up and send insults your way. This person loves Rodtang. So let's talk about online discussion and explain why this doesn't work and explain why this is ineffective. Not even what the content of the argument is. It's just about how it's presented and how it's communicated. In online spaces since the early internet, whether it be text-based chats or forums, it became evidence that mid-range, level-headed responses never got enough attention. So instead, people dialed up their reaction to be loud and boisterous, insulting and angry, overall toxic. This response got the desired attention. And not only that, it will always provoke an argument. However, it will never communicate a point. Whatever this toxic behavior is attempting to communicate will always fail in its pursuit. It will never communicate the point that it's trying to get to. When one approaches an argument with anger, they've already failed because the opponent will never see the actual knowledge. By laughing at your opponent and insulting them, you will always ensure that you will never change their mind on the topic. Whatever you are trying to argue completely fails due to the tone. To have tact in the right situation is always going to help with what you are trying to argue. It is entirely possible to change people's minds in the desired way through respectful arguments. There are people who disagree with me, and I disagree with them. And because of how much respect we have for one another, we communicate about it in a very normal way. And I always listen. I really respect those people's opinions. People like Bjarne, I will always listen to when he disagrees with me. Kyle McLaughlin, I will always listen to. These people sometimes disagree with my assessments and I disagree with theirs. And that's okay. We talk it out and quite often we get a better point of view because of it. Both parties come away feeling better, like they know more because they talked it out. But if your opening statement is insults to the other person's point, then the opponent is done listening. You've also forced the other person to take a position that they may not be fully confident on, and now they have to defend that point to the 100th degree. So and from that, they will never change their mind because you force them to. So imagine someone is a 7 out of 10 Takeru fan. They're just kind of a fan. And now with your words, the way that you act, you've driven them to be a 10 out of 10 Takeru fan. Do you understand? How your words, by attacking them, actually drive people away from the point that you are trying to get them to understand. So in response to you, I was getting my arguments together when I remembered I'm not more of a Takeru fan than I am a Rodtang fan, but just the way that you comment makes any opponent go, well, I have to go defend Takeru's honor, blah, 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 rather than seeing the point that you're trying to make. So all you're making people do is be fans of Takeru. Like, your point is not working. The way that you're going about your argument is not working. Both Rodtang and Takeru, I think, are incredible. I have so much respect for both men. Rodtang could win this fight. Takeru could win this fight. I'm just happy I'm alive to watch this fight live. By arguing in this way, you're forcing the other person to take a stance that they very likely would have changed their mind on if presented a better argument in a better way. Over time, you've left dozens of comments on various videos, Instagram posts, and elsewhere, and have failed to communicate anything. All you've done is make Rodtang fans look kind of silly. Because you must realize this. Realize this. You do have something very intelligent to say. You have something very valuable to say, but you need to say it in a better way. You need to respond in a better way. So that's the mature response. Now let's get to the immature response, because I do want you to respond. I love the comments. Keep the comments. Comment. More comments, the better. Go down to that almost like button. Go to the link. Share this with your other Rodtang friends and alt accounts and make them all comment as well. But here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take down your argument, and then I'm going to make your argument back at you in a better way. So this is what you should have done. I'm going to make the same point that you've been trying to make for months. On every Instagram post, on every YouTube video, what you keep commenting, what you keep saying, and what you've not communicated, I'm going to tell you right now. And it's a way that both men are built up. So both Rodtang and Takeru fans will look at this statement and go, yeah, that makes sense. I agree. But first we need to take down your argument. You said that Takeru is afraid of Muay Thai. Why would Takeru ever give his opponent a single advantage? This is war. He is taking no mercy. He is giving no quarter. He's not giving his opponents a single inch in this battle. He walked into someone else's house and told them that they're fighting under his rules. They said, yes, sir. Takeru told one championship, give me your biggest star. He's going to fight a K-1 champion under K-1 rules with K-1 gloves in a K-1 ring in Tokyo with Japanese judges. And one said, yes, sir. One championship and Rodtang could not negotiate for Muay Thai or kickboxing with elbows or kickboxing with extended clinches or small gloves. Nope. Every advantage goes to Takeru. Signed off and agreed upon from one championship. And you know how much of a badass Rodtang is? He said no problem. This is the point that you've been trying to make the entire time. There. That was it. He'll fight anyone under any rule set with no fear. Demetrius Johnson in MMA? Where do I sign? Takeru in kickboxing? Let's get it going. And you know what the honest truth is in this fight? Rodtang will have every disadvantage on the rules, and he still might win. That's how good Rodtang is. And that's what I want you to take away, is that I have tremendous respect for Rodtang, but based on your comments, you're making it seem like I never liked him or never respected him, and you couldn't be more wrong. I have the highest opinion of Rodtang and know that he can win this fight. Rodtang is a badass. Throw him any opponent under any rules, and he's there. And like I said, we will break it down closer to fight time, but I think his style really does work well for kickboxing. It might work better in kickboxing than it does in Muay Thai, in all honesty. But we'll have some videos and work a little bit closer to the fight time. Also, just the easy counter argument. I'm actually a little bit surprised this fight wasn't booked in Muay Thai. Takeru, we know, was training Muay Thai with people like Nongo. He was at the Super Bond camp, places like that. He was in the US training at Muay Thai academies. So it being unsigned under kickboxing, K-1 rules through and through for a K-1 champion. Yeah, everything here really favors Takeru. But the rhetoric around fighters being scared of other fighters is obviously silly. No one who does fist fighting for a living is scared of anyone else. That's plain silly. All right, let's get to the other point that you were trying to make here, because I thought it was quite funny as well. You said, quote, so when Rodtang fights other people who are making their debut in one, that's not good. But when Rodtang is fighting Takeru, who is also a debuting fighter in one, that's great. Keep in mind the issue with fighting debuting fighters came from Rodtang. Rodtang said he doesn't fight debuting fighters. You're arguing the point that Rodtang made. You're disagreeing with Rodtang. You don't even know what argument you're arguing with. You just circled around and attacked Rodtang's point. You need to get your arguments in order. Get your ducks in a row. Get it together. And then there's Rodtang fighting Takeru versus Rodtang fighting other debuting fighters. Yes, those are massively different things, and you know full well why. And by bringing it up, this point is now magnified, and you're putting it under a more intense lens, and we're going to highlight why it's more bad. So you're actually bringing more attention to something that's you probably don't want more attention for. Let me explain why. And again, every point that I make is going to make Rodtang sound better, rather than trying to tear down opponents or attack someone else. Every point I'm making makes Rodtang seem better. And that's what you need to learn. So Rodtang is such a great fighter that with the right opponents, he could actually be considered a top 20 Muay Thai fighter of all time. Truly, he is that good. With the right wins and matches, he actually could be. He is so good that he should only be fighting stadium champions, national Muay Thai champions, or contenders. These matchups where he fights debuting fighters don't add anything to his legacy because those debuting fighters weren't well-decorated Muay Thai champions outside of one. He should be fighting people who are debuting in the organization if they're a national champion, regional champion, stadium champion, or a contender from the division, not just some guy. He should be fighting, and he deserves to be fighting, the best of Muay Thai all around the world. The best fights in his career are people like Konar, Pechdam, Haggerty, and some of the others. Those are the ones that really added to his legacy. So I want to see him fight people who deserve to fight him. Contenders, national champions, stadium champions, people. The thing is, even casual fans who are just getting into this look at Rodtang and do a little more research and realize like his record really isn't all that. It doesn't take a genius to quickly look down his most recent fights and realize like something's missing here. He deserves better. And he deserves better wins because he is that good of a fighter. So there. Now you have a mature response, which talked about your tone and an immature response that talked about your content, but actually made a better point than you did. And I hope you realize it's not even so much what you're saying. It's not the content of what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. So make sure to comment, interact lots with this video. Come back every week and make a comment. Folks, we will be back next week at the same time. I usually appreciate your time. Let me know what fights this weekend you are most looking forward to. And I will be back next week to talk about the Rise 2023 final round. I'm not looking forward to this one. Toki, Tamura, and Kumandoi. Oh my God, it's such a good card. It's such a good fight. It's going to be a really good one. So come back next week. Folks, I massively appreciate your time. This has been Kick Weekly with Tim Wheaton. Thank you so much.